Good evening, Statesboro. Thank you for waiting with us for our delay. Our work session drew over, so we will call to order our city council meeting for the city of Statesboro. The time is now 5:35. We will have our invocation and pledge of allegiance by Mayor Pro Tem Sherry Bowen.
Thank you, Mayor. So an invocation is an opportunity to invoke whatever is highest and best for you. And I invite you to do so, whatever allows you to be here with a peaceful heart and a calm mind. I invite you to invoke that now. For those who share in a Christian background or training, I invite you to speak with me now the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our trespasses,
as we forgive those who trespass against us.
and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever.
Amen. And blessed be.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll move down to agenda item 3. Leah, we do have 2 public comments, is that correct?
Not at the beginning.
Not at the beginning? Okay, good. All right, we'll have 4, move down to agenda item 4, consideration of a motion to approve the consent agenda, approval of minutes for our council meeting on September the 6th, and executive session meeting for executive session. Is there a motion to approve? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we move down to agenda item number 5, consider a motion to award a contract for branding and marketing services for the city of Statesboro to North Star in the amount not to exceed $79,000 plus expenses, or not to exceed $5,000. Mr. King.
Mayor, members of the council, I think it was in June that this item, July, this item was on the agenda. We went through an extensive process of request for qualifications, and we recommend to you North Star to do branding for the city of Statesboro. The importance of branding is, as we try to market our community for people to move here, as we try to market our community for people to work here, we need to have a unified voice on what we present and how we market our community. And the purpose of this process would be to include stakeholders in our community to help us determine how we want to market our community. And so with that, we do recommend North Star to lead us through a branding process, and I recommend that and ask council to consider that recommendation.
Thank you. We'll open it up for council discussion. All right, seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve?
There's a motion to deny.
Okay. Is there a second for denying?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, could we go back for discussion? That went by too quickly for me.
Okay. All right, so we had a motion, we had a second, we had a vote.
We didn't have a full vote yet.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say that. So we have 3 individuals who did not cast. We had, saw the 3 nays. And then- Okay, and then, so we're gonna go back and discuss it. If there's another motion.
Right.
Okay. We need an action to happen, so we can go back and, so we can kind of discuss it a little bit more.
So without discussion, I need to either agree with the people who don't want to do it or agree with the people who do want to do it before I can get to discussion. I
Well,
understand where we are in Robert's rules, but.
Well, Robert's rules generally, you're supposed to make the motion and then have discussion, so we can discuss the
And
motion.
that opportunity was presented, but I
Okay,
wasn't
so-
quick enough,
So do we want to remove the vote?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right, let's open it up for discussion.
I'm of 2 minds about it. I agree with Councilmember Boyer that we need to be looking at expenses all we can. I'm concerned about that folks are having to pay more taxes. But then $80,000, $83,000 is a lot of money to me, but it's not a lot looking at our overall budget. So I'm of two minds. I'm interested in hearing what other people have, the other council members have to say about it to help me make up my mind.
No, I thought this was something that we had already discussed earlier in the year, so I'm with moving forward with, you know, the branding that because we need the brand.
We decided not to do it earlier in the year, that's why we're voting on it
We postponed it before.
now.
Yeah.
Right?
Nobody would vote for it, so we postponed it and it's
Right.
coming back up now for discussion. Is my
Well-
understanding.
As of now, if I can speak currently, I'm for moving forward with it.
Thanks.
That's my,
Councilman Mack?
I'm for moving forward as well.
Oh, I would love for us to have some branding, but I'm not ready for it right now. There's too many questions about what we're gonna do next year for a budget.
Okay.
So, and I'm trying to squeeze some pennies out of it.
For me, it's not really even a budget issue. I think we've got a lot of things regionally that are going on right now. And I also think we've got a lot of things a lot of irons in the fire internally as well. We've got housing, we've got transportation, and we've got stuff that's coming around the corner that soon. So I think in some respects, we have to kind of wait to see how some of that stuff plays out before we can even brand our city. How is our transportation system going to work out? We could use that in our branding, but we haven't even implemented it yet. You see me getting that? So, I mean, we've got some irons in the fire. I mean, I'm with you guys as far as the money is concerned too. I just think at this stage, we could use that money. It'd be better served if we pushing this to next year or the year after. Plus, the only feedback I've gotten from citizens is we don't need branding right at the moment.
Yeah, so I'm in a similar place. I haven't heard from many people, and the ones that I didn't think it was a good use of our funds at this point in time. And I keep hearing how we're poised for this huge growth. And I'm more concerned about managing, preserving the quality of life here and managing this growth instead of going out attracting more people. I mean, I hear what you say about it's good to have a systematic approach and a unified voice and all that, but I don't know that we're in a place where we can do it right now, just like Phil was just saying, because of so many things, so many changes happening here. We're doing really good things, but we're still evolving. So I think I've talked myself into agreeing with the guys for a change. Sorry, ladies.
That's fine.
All right.
We're two of the guys, excuse me, Mr. Mayor.
I mean, you didn't ask me what I thought, so.
Well, go ahead.
Oh, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
No, it does matter. I mean,
Yeah.
sure,
No,
weigh in.
yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter, because at this point right now, Statesboro is behind when it comes to branding. Other communities across the country is doing this. We're about 5 or 10 years late. And the truth of the matter is, this is $83,000 investment into something that can have multi-millions of dollars of economic impact on this community. That's what this is. So, but for me, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of another. If you guys don't want to move forward, that's absolutely fine. But to spend $83,000 on something that can have millions of dollars of economic impact, for me, that's a no-brainer. It may be a little more difficult for other people, but for me, it's a no-brainer. So,
Thank you.
all right, so with that being said, we'll move down to agenda item 6.
but is it, what's?
Oh, yeah, it's a 3-2 vote.
Well, we had to actually have a motion and a vote, so a motion again to deny.
Oh, okay, so you got a motion to deny?
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
Thank you. Sorry.
All right, now, you hurt my feelings. You hurt my feelings.
I don't have to work on it.
Agenda item 6, public hearing consideration of motion to approve RZ 22-08-01, Simco Investment Group LLC requests a zoning map amendment from the R20 zoning district to the R2 zoning district in order to construct a 151-unit townhome development on 26.3 acres of property on Jones Mills Road. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Hold on, is there a motion to open the public hearing? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thank you.
The applicant requests a zoning map amendment from the R20 Single Family Residential Zoning District to the R2 Townhouse Residential Zoning District in order to construct 151 townhomes on 26.3 acres of property on Jones Mill Road. Currently, the parcel is a wooded lot with a mix of existing wetlands and an existing pond on the property. Preliminary plans show sufficient spacing for green space, but do not currently include provisions for amenities. As per the R2 zoning district requirements, the site should provide no less than 5% amenity area, which will be determined in the development process. And so you can see the site at the corner of Jones Mill Road and Veterans Memorial Parkway. The future land use map shows this area to be located within an established residential neighborhood. The current zoning is shown to be R20. And the subject property is shown on the top left. The property to the east is shown on the bottom right. Property to the south is shown on the top left, and the property to the north on the bottom right. And this is a site plan of the project. Staff does recommend approval of RZ 22-08-01. If this petition is approved by the mayor and city council, it should be subject to the applicant's agreement to the following enumerated conditions. 1, approval of the zoning map amendment does not grant the right to develop on the property. All construction must be reviewed and approved by the city. 2, prior to construction commencement on any proposed lot, a subdivision plat as well as the bylaws and HOA restrictive covenants shall be reviewed and approved by staff in addition to any other applicable City of Statesboro subdivision regulations. 3, the planning and development staff shall review and approve any open space amenities included as part of this proposed project. At the regularly scheduled meeting of the Planning Commission on Tuesday, September 6, 2022, the Commission recommended approval of the zoning map amendment and enumerated conditions with a 5-0 vote. That is my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, is there anyone here to speak for this request? Please state your name.
I'm Alec Metzger with EMC Engineering. I'll be telling you a little bit about the project. Also, Clay Price with the developer is here, if he needs to answer any questions. So we did the layout and the sketch plan based on the new ordinance, tried to make it fit and work with that, so we feel like we've met all of those points. The density that we provide is 5.7 units per acre. There are 151 units, 6 units per building maximum. We provide 18% open space is provided, which is above the 5% open space amenity area that's required. Those will be worked out at some point. What we're wanting to do is passive recreation areas, park benches, park areas, maybe an overlook of a pond, some open space that can be utilized by the community. We're talking about having sidewalks, public streets, street lights. These townhomes will have a garage, so we'll be providing one parking space in the garage and 2 in the driveway, so 3 units, 3 spaces per unit. And then also about 30 spaces or so scattered through the development as kind of overflow parking. We also provide a buffer of at least 20 feet undisturbed around the perimeter of the project. So that's pretty much an overview of the project. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
Okay, thank you. All right, is there anyone here to speak against the request? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll open it up for council discussion. Any discussion by council?
Yes, sir. Maybe Jason, you can tell me. So you got a Veterans Memorial, looking at this drawing here, you have Veterans Memorial on the left, and then you get the right angular section, right? So in the in the top right there, it looks like there's a wedge of property in between the townhomes and that single-family home. Is that city land? What is that? Do you know what that is? You see what I'm talking about? Right there where that little white square is, it says overflow parking? Yep. What's that space right there? Because I see there's like a little wedge in between the houses and the subdivision, so what is in there?
So what that is there's
An easement or something?
it's a 22 acre parcel owned by Bel Air Estates, which is, I guess, the pond. So it kind of creates an additional buffer.
Oh, that's owned by the homeowners association. Oh, that's
Yeah.
even better. Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
so it's a strip in between the two, so it varies, you know, from 125 feet to about 450 feet wide.
Oh, good.
it's a-
So in the highest density areas, you have the biggest buffer between the single-family neighborhood. Okay, great. That's perfect.
So one question that occurred to me, everybody in Statesboro who knows me knows I'm a tree lover and hate to see mature trees cut down. However, I do understand that developers like to clear cut because that's an easier, gives you a clean slate to work on. But where you've got those mature trees in the areas, it's gonna be open space anyway. Would that be a possibility of leaving some of those along the edges?
Yes, ma'am. So one thing we would want to do is the 20-foot buffer around the property. We definitely want to try to leave that intact to get the best use for the buffer.
So on the bypass side, the Memorial Parkway side, as well as around the pond, all the way around?
Yes,
Looks like all
ma'am.
three sides.
Yeah, all the way around is what we're talking about. And then there's some wetland areas that's on the property. We're gonna leave those won't be touched. Only a small impact of about 1/10 of an acre for a road crossing to get from one side to the other. So those will be maintained. And then, you know, where we can, this developer likes to leave trees if we can leave them. So usually it's very hard with the grading and development of the land, but if it's any way possible, we usually.
That sounds good, that's encouraging. And I can understand, like I say, how it's so much easier to clear cut, but when you got edges with trees, maybe that's not quite as big a burden for the developer to leave some. Something else, I don't know if this is for you or for staff, but some of the folks who've contacted me who live in the adjacent neighborhood are concerned about that many more people, families, cars coming and going. Would there be 2 exits on the Jones Mill out of here?
Yes,
Because you can't go
ma'am, I
on the
believe by
bypass.
code, we're required to have 2.
Okay.
So Jones Mill goes straight out to the bypass, so we would have 2 entrances. Probably the first one that's closest to the east side, the bypass, would probably be a right in, right out. And then the other one would be a full both-way drive, both direction drive. Now, that would keep, you know, a little bit of the traffic away from the intersection, allowing people just to come in instead of trying to come out and turn left and people stacking, waiting to get on to the bypass.
And that's in the plans, that's not just because we're bringing it up. You have that plan to be right out, right in.
That's what we've discussed with staff. So we haven't done a traffic report yet, which will be, you know, the next step during design. But that was something that was brought up that we have discussed.
And you're all good with that?
So maybe, again, staff would be answering this. Once the traffic study is done, will that indicate whether or not there needs to be a traffic light then on the bypass? Did that traffic study show that, if there was a need? Or we won't know that until we have all those people coming and going.
Yeah, so the traffic, I've seen quite a few traffic studies, and more than likely it's not gonna show the need for a traffic light. Usually you're talking like, you know, 500 lot subdivision or something like that, adding traffic at a single point to need a light. So what we're talking about here is probably just, you know, whether we need a right turn lane or left turn lane on our entrances to our subdivision. That's what the improvements would be looking at.
I know we need new homes, and this looks like it's well thought out. I've been concerned because of cutting so many mature trees. But then I was reassured to learn today that our tree board actually requires 15% of green space to remain in new developments. So I'm sure staff will work with you to accomplish that.
Are these going to be rental or purchase?
It's gonna be, each unit will be on its own lot, so fee simple lots, I don't know if it's gonna be rental or purchase.
But they'll at least be fee simple properties, so theoretically they could be sold
Yes, sir.
as individual units.
That's right.
And it's
Each
not,
one will
it's
be
not
on
like
their-
an apartment complex, it's an individual, okay, good.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You said somebody else was with you. Could you answer that question? Is the intent to market, to rent, or to sell?
It really can't be determined at this time, but they are fee simple units.
Thank you.
All right. Any further discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none.
Charles, did you have any objections to this, or? Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any further discussion from council? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second, all those in favor? Aye. All right, we move down to agenda item 7, consideration, I'm sorry, public hearing and consideration of a motion to approve SE 22-08-02, Code Award request a special exception from Article 8, Section 801 of the Statesboro zoning orders in order to locate a men's health clinic on .06 acre parcel in the multi-tenant building located at 22 South Main Street. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you. The applicant requests a special exception to allow for an additional use in the existing multi-tenant building to allow an appointment-only men's health clinic. This property currently houses a number of businesses and is listed as the offices on Main, which consists of the bottom floor and additional loft apartments on the top floor. This property has an existing special exception in place to allow for the city's first virtual car brokerage. No significant changes would need to be made to the building with this special exception, as the building already consists of separate office spaces. So what we're asking for is that this use is not allowed by right in this district. So therefore, a special exception has been requested. So the location of the building is at the corner of East Vine and South Main. And the future land use map shows this to be in an area determined to be commercial redevelopment area number 1. The zoning map shows it in the central business district. And the subject property is shown on the top left. And property to the north is shown on the bottom right. Property to the south is on the top left, and the property across the street to the west is on the bottom right. Staff does recommend approval of SE 22-08-02. If this petition is approved by the mayor and city council, it should be subject to the applicant's agreement to the following enumerated condition. 1, approval of the special exception does not grant the right to develop on the property without adherence to the city code and approval by the Department of Planning and Development. At the regularly scheduled meeting of the Planning Commission on Tuesday, September 6, 2022, the commission recommended approval of the special exception and enumerated condition with a 5-0 vote. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone here to speak for the request? Is there anyone here to speak against the request? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll open it up for council discussion. All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve with staff conditions?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, move down to agenda item 8, public hearing and consideration of a motion to approve RZ 22-08-03. Horizon Home Builders request a zoning map amendment from the R4 HOC to the R2 zoning district for the development of 245 unit townhomes, development on a portion of 42.87 acre property at 538 East Main Street. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you. The applicant requests a zoning map amendment from the R4 HOC High Density Residential Highway Oriented Commercial zoning districts to the R2 Townhouse Residential zoning district on a portion of the 42.87 acre property in order to build 245 townhomes. This property currently has a detached single-family home to the north of the site on East Main Street. The rest of the site is wooded and concludes at the end of the existing Abbey Road. The intent is to create a network of private streets to serve the subdivision and extend the public street Abbey Road to serve as a connection from East Main to Jones Mill Road. As depicted in the preliminary plan, the amenity areas for this project include a mix of passive and active amenities to include a dog park, community lawns, observation decks, a pool, and a playground. As also depicted in the map, the northeastern portion of the site will remain HOC, which is the highway-oriented commercial, for future commercial development along Veterans Memorial Parkway. So, as you can see, here's the site, and Abbey Road is on the southern end of the property, and the intent is to connect that all the way up to East Main Street. The future land use map shows this to be in an area designated activity centers / regional centers. The current zoning shows this to be divided between the HOC on the north end of it and the R4 on the southern end. The property is shown on the top left, and that shows the dead end of Abbey Road. That the plan is to extend that. The photo on the bottom right shows property to the southeast. The top left shows property to the southwest. And the bottom right shows, again, the subject property, but from the East Main Street view. This exhibit shows the proposed townhome development, and you can see those 5 parcels in pink will remain in the HOC, highway-oriented commercial zoning designation. Staff does recommend approval of RZ 22-08-03. If this petition is approved by the mayor and city council, it should be subject to the applicant's agreement to the following enumerated conditions. 1, approval of the zoning map amendment does not grant the right to develop on the property. All construction must be reviewed and approved by the city. 2, a solid waste disposal plan must be reviewed and approved by the Department of Public Works during the development. 3, prior to construction commencement on any proposed lot, a subdivision plat as well as the bylaws and HOA restrictive covenants shall be reviewed and approved by staff, in addition to any other applicable City of Statesboro subdivision regulations. At the regularly scheduled meeting of the Planning Commission on Tuesday, September 6, 2022, the Commission recommended approval of the zoning map amendment and enumerated conditions with a 5-0 vote. That is my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone here to speak for this request?
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. My name is Hayden Rollins with Tuskegee Bell, and I'm here on behalf of the developer. Like Ms. Field stated, this is 245 townhome units. These all will be fee simple. The intent is to extend Abbey Road to East Main Street. That road will remain public. All of these streets on the interior of the development will be private. We meet the 5% amenity space requirement. We provide what we think to be quality amenities to the future residents. We provide 3 times the required parking that the ordinance requires. Another thing to point out is we provide an additional 5 feet between the back of the sidewalk and the front of these townhomes. The ordinance requires 20 feet, we provide 25, so that gives it a little bit more neighborhood feel. We worked with city staff and had a great experience making sure that we met the new R2 ordinance. And we're okay with all the conditions, and we'll be happy to answer any other questions y'all may have.
All right, thank you. All right, is there anyone here to speak against the request? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll open it up for council discussion. Any discussion by council?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I neglected to ask earlier, for the developer or Kathy, does the the adjacent subdivision that Abbey Road comes through, that's not yet been developed. Is that owned by the same people?
No, ma'am, as far as I know, it's separate owners, it has not been developed.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that's owned by the charter school.
Or that's across, East Main.
Is that the other?
Charter school.
Oh, yeah, that's one more block up, you're right.
I believe that it was maybe a senior living that was, Justin, is that right?
That's correct. It was proposed to be a senior living facility.
It's adjacent to the William Way property, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
But there's nothing there yet. It's not, there's a road.
No,
there.
ma'am, it is
Nothing's been
completely
developed.
empty.
Thank you.
Any further discussion by council?
No, I mean, I just have to say, I mean, it's nice to start seeing, you know, the higher density subdivisions being placed in areas where high density is appropriate as opposed to behind single-family residences and things like this. So I'm pleased to see both of these developments. They're close to high traffic roads. You know, they're buffered from the other areas. I mean, it's what we want from this type of development.
So I know we need more homes. I'm a little concerned that we're getting so many of them in so quick before we get the 5% up to 10% on the amenities, that we're proposing doing more than the 5%.
So the current ordinance has the 5%, but it just states really a vague amenity, and a community loan could count for that. And to me, what we're providing, even though it's 5%, we've got what I believe a great amenity in a pool and a clubhouse. You could just put an open grass lawn and that could be 10%, but with this, we're actually providing what I believe to be real amenities for development. So I think that's one thing that definitely needs to be noted. And I would like to note too that half of this property is zoned R4 currently. So I think it's a lot better that it's townhomes other than multifamily apartments, so.
Yeah, so the current ordinance, you're right, only says 5. We've just been working on it, but we are in the process of upping it to 10%. So y'all are
Yes,
in
ma'am.
just under the wire. And I'm also pleased that you, because of earlier ordinances, that you do have to meet 15% green space.
Yes,
That's required of all the new developments. Thank you for being here and answering questions.
yes, ma'am, thank you.
Any further discussion by council? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 9. Public hearing, consideration of a motion to approve RZ 22-08-04 L&S acquisitions request a zoning map amendment from the R8 and R10 zoning district to the PUD zoning district in order to develop 140 single-family detached subdivision on 34.88 acres of property located at 1263 SNS Railroad Bed. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Kathy?
Thank you. The applicant is requesting a zoning map amendment from the R8/R10 single-family residential zoning districts to the PUD, Plan Unit Development Zoning District, in order to construct a 140-unit single-family detached subdivision at 1263 SNS Railroad Bed Road. This property is currently a cotton field with some wetlands projected on the border of the property. The project was originally brought before the council with 144 units at the July meeting and received a no-action vote from the council due to significant concerns on multiple items in the development. The project has since been amended to address density, lot size concerns, fire apparatus access, and amenities. Amenities included in the development are listed as a pickleball court, community lawn, an observation deck, and a pavilion with 2 grilling stations. The average lot size as depicted has been amended, and average is the operative word here. The average lot size as depicted has been amended to approximately 6,019 square feet. So some are smaller than that, and the 6,000 is our smallest lot that you can zone to under the R6. So we did work with the developers to make sure that the lots did average out at least to 6,000 square feet. So here is the property along SNS Railroad Bed Road. The future land use map shows this to be in a developing urban neighborhood area. The current zoning shows it between the R10 and the R8 zoning districts. The subject property is shown on the top left photo. The property to the east is on the bottom right. Property to the south is on the top left, and the property to the north is on the bottom right. And this shows the proposed site plan for these lots. And they have improved the access so that there are two main access points. So there was a discrepancy in the last plan that showed more of a driveway going for the second entranceway. Now they have two main entranceways. Staff does recommend approval of RZ 22-08-04. If this petition is approved by the mayor and city council, it should be subject to the applicant's agreement to the following enumerated conditions. 1, approval of the zoning map amendment does not grant site and/or building plan approval as submitted. Project will be required to meet all city ordinances and applicable building codes. 2, prior to construction commencement on any proposed lot, a subdivision plat as well as the bylaws and HOA restrictive covenants shall be reviewed and approved by staff, in addition to any other applicable city of Statesboro subdivision regulations. 3, the applicant must install a landscape buffer on S&S Railroad Bed Road of Silverthorne to ensure appropriate screening between residents and those utilizing the trail. 4, in alignment with county requirements, the intersection of the drives and the trail must have distinguishing markings and coloring to alert pedestrians of the entry and exit points. At the regularly scheduled meeting of the Planning Commission on Tuesday, September 10, 2022, the Commission recommended approval of the zoning map amendment and enumerated conditions with a 5-0 vote. That is my presentation.
Thank you, Catherine. Is there anyone who wants to speak for this request?
Good afternoon again. Hayden Rollins, Hussey Gay Bell, here on behalf of the developers and owners of the property. Like Ms. Field stated, we were here in July, but we think we are back with a better plan. We kind of shifted those things around the roads, added some additional areas for amenities. We're at 140 lots now. We've increased the size of those lots. Also added a little bit of flexibility for when they are building the houses to where they can kind of have a different product for each of these lots. We also, another thing to note that's not shown on that plan is there are sidewalks that are connected to the trail. We are okay with all the conditions that are listed, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. And if y'all have any questions for the developers, they are also here as well.
Thank you. Is there anyone here to speak against this request? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll open it up for council discussion.
Ms. Mayor, I do have some questions. I don't see on the site plan for the pickleball court. I can't tell in some kind of drawing where's what.
Yes, ma'am, it's down right next to where the pavilion is.
Because you were mine is fuzzy.
I'm very fuzzy too. I'm sorry, it's where?
It's right next to where the pavilion is.
In the green area.
Oh, okay.
Going up in the corner,
So,
behind it from the road.
yeah, the pavilion right there.
Okay.
Going on the
A little hard to reduce the size.
Okay.
Thank you. Just point to it on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, staff, does this address the concerns about rooms for fire trucks to turn around and all, or the road straightened out enough, that's not a problem?
Chief is outside. Chief, it's good.
Thank you.
Who are the developers? I'd like to see them. Oh, okay. Welcome.
Thank you.
Any further discussion by council?
So it's individual, single-family homes, so it's
Yes,
going to be
ma'am.
marketed that way for individual sales,
Yes, ma'am.
is the intent? Could the owners or developers tell us what price point you're thinking this will be?
depends on the market and of course, you know, what's going on with lumber, but we have some elevations of what we build in other communities, if y'all like to see them, just to get a sense of what we're thinking of building.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah,
Sure.
It goes bigger.
No. I'll take this now.
Oh, thank you.
No, y'all go ahead, I'll take a look at it.
I kind of got an idea.
Yeah.
So, are all these houses gonna be vinyl or hardy plank
It's mixed.
or mixed?
So they'll be mixed. We have options to do vinyl and brick and party plank as well.
Okay.
So depending on the market you anticipate sales prices of, can you have a general range?
Where we're at right now, we're probably 280 to 390 is where we're at in the county.
Thank you.
And we'll see if that lasts for
Right.
6 months.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Might go up 20%, might go down.
All right, any further discussion by council?
I'm gonna echo the comment I made about the townhomes, because this is, again, I think the opposite problem, is we're putting high density out onto an area, a road that necessarily isn't designed for high density. And that Kiwanis Road, that railroad bed road is what a disaster that road is. But then I am concerned too that if you really look at the breakdown of the lot sizes, you've got 10% of the lot sizes that are over 8,000 feet, and you see this huge, so it kind of skews the average. But 68% of the properties are gonna be under 5,000 square feet. That's a very small lot size. I mean, that's a very small lot size for out on the edge of town. It's not necessarily a small one for in town, but you see what I'm getting at? Because all those people, you're gonna have this density, all those people have to drive everywhere. There's no way to walk to anything. So this is an entirely drivable community. So, I mean, I understand that what we need, but I'm not sure that this is the style of housing we need in that kind of a location, but that's just my opinion.
I would like to add that this is less dense than the apartments right up railroad bed and they're quadruplexes right next door. So I think we're definitely moving in a better direction.
Any further discussion by council?
Yes, please. So that reminded, Mr. Boyden's comment reminded me, Kathy, I saw this bill, we put in something about crossing the walking trail, but I think we just made reference to the county coming up with some kind of regulations. Can we put something in and not wait on them? Because as you and I have talked about, I'm really concerned somebody's gonna get run over one day with somebody pulling out and turning into the walking trail instead of out over the road. So is that a feasible thing to require that they put a bumper or something so folks would know they're turning into the right lane or the wrong lane?
Well, there is a requirement in here that states that they must follow the county regulations in terms of where the road meets the trail. It specifically says, in alignment with county regulations, the intersection of the drives and the trail must have distinguishing markings and coloring to alert pedestrians of the entry and exit points into and out of the development.
But that's not in place yet? I mean.
Well, it will be as part of when they start to develop, we'll mandate that be a requirement that they have to install.
And so my concern is if the county hadn't agreed on something, that they don't have to do anything. I'm wondering if we need to put something in to keep it safe until such time as the county has something.
I can tell you that we definitely will work with county staff and city staff, because the last thing we want to do is create an unsafe condition for residents of the neighborhood and those that are on the walking trail as well.
We will work with the county to ensure.
Be sure.
Yeah, and it's a requirement in here, so we'll make sure that it's mandated.
Thank you.
Any further discussion by council? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion from council?
I motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Opposed.
Any abstentions? Okay. All right, we'll move down to the next agenda with agenda item, which is the second reading, consideration of motion to approve ordinance 2022-04, an ordinance amending section 2.2-55 of the Statesboro Code of Ordinances regarding the appointment and term of members of the One Borough Commission. Mr. Penny?
I'm going to defer to our city attorney.
Okay.
Mayor and council, this is brought before y'all after directive, after having a first reading on this back on September 6th. What this would do is create staggered terms of membership for One Borough Commission members. When y'all appoint for this upcoming term, 6 of the members would be for 2-year terms, 6 would be for 1-year terms, and then, of course, when they expire, any subsequent memberships would be for 2-year terms. So what we would do here is just create a continuity of membership in the commission with the staggered membership.
Thank you, Ken. Any discussion by council? Seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve? Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, move down to agenda item 11, consideration of motion to approve resolution 2022-34, a resolution authorizing the waiver of the payment and renewal taxes by the Statesboro Housing Authority to the city of Statesboro for the 2021 tax year in the amount of $29,488.83. Mr. Penny, if you'll give us some insight.
Mayor, members of the council, the Statesboro Housing Authority, it's been a practice that they've come to the council to ask for the waiving of the payment of in lieu of taxes, which is just shy of $30,000. It's $29,488.83. And so it's been a recurring practice of the mayor and council. Believe the thought has been that instead of paying the city this amount of money, they will use this money to improve the housing condition of the properties that they currently own in the city of Statesboro. And so therefore, it's on your agenda for approval, and we do recommend approval of the waiver.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, in the past, the Housing Authority has done a presentation when are they?
Yeah, she's here.
Okay.
Monique will be glad to come up, I'm sure.
Tell us what the money's gonna be used for, tell us about the improvements, et cetera.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. I have been at the position, my name is Monica Johnson, I'm the Executive Director at Statesboro Housing Authority. I would have been there 18 months this month, and in the past, there has not been a presentation. It has just been a letter that was sent. The process of actually requesting a waiver is in the Georgia statutes, and we can request the waiver of the pilot, and it has just been the custom and the practice in the past. If in the future you would like a presentation, I am more than happy to prepare one. I was just following basically what had been done, the process as it has been done previously.
Mayor and council, and since Monique, Ms. Johnson has not been before, I don't believe she's actually made a presentation. We can work with her at a work session where you can present whatever you like, if that's the desire of the mayor and council.
If it is your desire, I will be more than happy to accommodate it, absolutely. But the money definitely has been used, there's money that's been, more than that amount has been used to maintain the units and to, especially under the COVID conditions that have been in place, everyone's been dealing with contractor issues, supply chain shortages. So the cost of construction materials have increased. It's pretty difficult to just get appliances for the units. So the money has been spent in basically helping us to maintain the units for the 148 units that we have. And so we think it's money well spent, and it is a part of the collaboration that we have with the city from the inception of the agency in 1951.
Okay. Thank you. Any further discussion by council?
No.
Okay. Thank you, Ms.
Thank
Johnson.
you.
Thank you.
Yes. All right, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. We move down to agenda item 12, consideration of a motion to approve resolution 2022-35, a resolution granting a grant application of the 2022 LGRMS Firefighter Cancer Awareness Incentive Program. Mr. Penny.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, in this case, we are asking your authorization to apply for a grant through the local government risk management services for $5,000, and it's with the thought of working with purchasing the equipment that will reduce firefighter cancer. Don't know, statistically, firefighters tend to have a higher incidence of cancer. We hate to even think about that, but because of the hazards that they are exposed to in fighting fire, and so this is a good grant opportunity, although it's a small amount, but they are among our group of employees the ones that have a higher risk of getting cancer.
Thank
We
you.
recommend it to you.
Thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. We move down to agenda item 13, which is consideration of a motion to approve resolution 2022-36, a resolution to accept the 2021 AFG award for the Statesboro Fire Department Physician Program in the amount of $31,818.18, with a 10% match of $3,181.82 for a project total of $35,000. Mr. Penny.
Mayor and Council, I believe this is our third year in receiving this grant, where we have Dr. Gerges is the physician that we work with, and so we enjoy having Dr. Gerges and having that physician available to consult with the fire department, and so we would recommend approval, receipt of these grant funds so that we can continue with the program that I think they really enjoy having available to them.
All right, any discussion by council? Seeing that there is no discussion by council, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we move down to agenda item 14, which is consideration of a motion to approve resolution 2022-37, a resolution to adopt the First Amendment of the fiscal year 2023 budget for each fund of the city of Statesboro, Georgia, appropriating the amounts shown in each budget as expenditures or expenses, adopting the several items of revenue anticipations and prohibiting expenditures or expenses from exceeding the actual funding appropriated. Mr. Penny.
Mayor, members of the council, annually at the end of the fiscal year, there are things that we start during the fiscal year that we don't necessarily finish, and we have to bring those funds forward. Typically, and what you see today are mostly capital improvement projects that we either started or were funded last year and we're just getting to them. And so we would ask that you would approve the budget amendment as presented. The one thing I just do want to call to your attention on this budget amendment, you will notice there are no carry forwards under the general fund. All the so these are all CIP funds that we're bringing forward. I recommend approval.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 15, consideration to enter into an intergovernmental agreement between the city of Statesboro and the Georgia Department of Human Services, Division of Family and Children's Services relating to the low-income household water assistance program. This agreement is for the provision of federal funds to be used as part of an overall agency effort, emergency effort to prevent, prepare for, and respond to the COVID-19 pandemic, with public health focus on ensuring that eligible low-income households have access to drinking water and wastewater services. Mr. Penny.
Mayor, members of the council, I believe this is the second year that we have come before you. In the past, I think most people are familiar with the low-income energy assistance, but in this case, this is important to our community because we have people that oftentimes have difficulty paying water and sewer bills. And in this case, we would be able to get assistance to assist people with the water and sewer bills. And so last year, we brought it before you, and we would recommend that you approve us to be able to participate in this program again this coming year. So we recommend approval.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. We'll move down to other business from city council. We'll open it up for any other business by city council.
Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to point out that we've got Green Fest coming up a week from Saturday, which is a downtown celebration with tree board and greener Borough and environmental sustainability, and the Georgia Southern folks, lots of folks come together and share tips and ideas about how we can be greener. And that'll be from 10 to 1 at Courthouse Square on Saturday, October the 1st. So I hope it's a beautiful day and lots of folks turn out.
Any further discussion from council?
I would like to ask council's permission to direct our city attorney Kane to craft the language to establish a commission that will address the concerns of local business owners. This commission will act as a liaison between business owners and city council. The naming of this commission can happen at a later date after we discuss the language at a work session.
Okay. All right. Council, there's been an ask of a fellow council member. Any discussion?
So I'm just trying to be clear about the process. If we direct Kane, we'd have to have language for him now. If we just ask that it be put on the agenda for the next work session, then we talk about it and decide what that might look like and the best way to do it. All right?
As a point of clarification, Kane, do we have to have language prepared for you now? Or can we craft language in the process as we prepare for the next work session?
Y'all could certainly do it either way. I don't need specific language. That's what the first and second readings would be to sharpen and finalize that language.
Okay. With that point of clarity, any further discussion by council?
I would just say we probably need to schedule a work session, just like we were gonna do with the health that we didn't get to. And we probably need to discuss both of those items and really determine, you know, what these commissions are for.
All right, so a direct was asked of that of the city attorney. Is that ask going to be granted or are we going to go in a different direction?
Granted.
I think we
So
need
is
to
there a
put it on
motion?
a work session is what we.
Is it a motion to direct the city attorney to start crafting language for a business commission?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to clarify. I saw Ms. Mack nodding with what Mr. Boyer was saying, so are you okay?
No, I
with
was
just
saying,
being-
it is going to be a work session because we need to discuss it and see what it looks like and discuss the language that you want to craft.
So we're just putting it on the agenda, we're not starting the ordinance until after we talk about it next time?
We have to vote on the ordinance in order for it to start, so if he can craft the language and then present it at a work session so that we know what it looks like and discuss it, and then we can move forward after that. We have to vote.
So the ask is to direct
Craft the
Kane,
language.
to ask Kane to start crafting the language so that we can discuss it during the work session.
At our next work session, if possible.
Okay.
In October.
In
Yes.
October. Mhm.
Very good idea, Venus.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so we need a motion. Is there a motion? Is there a motion to direct Kane to craft language for a commission to address business needs for the next work session?
Again, I'd prefer to have the work session discuss and then write up language. I don't think Kane has enough direction at this point to even really put anything together. We got some basic commission language, but we really need to decide what we're gonna do. We haven't discussed that, which is what we need for a work session. So I would not recommend asking him to write language because we haven't directed him what language to write.
What do you want?
That's
Are
not
you confused on the language?
Of course it's
Do you
needed.
need
Yeah.
more clarification?
I disagree.
We would essentially want the commission to act as a liaison between the business community and the governing body, correct?
Correct.
I believe I could draft that.
Thank you, Kane.
Okay, so again,
That is the motion.
all right, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, any opposed?
Nay?
All right. All right, any further business by council?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I've got two things. First, Mr. Penny, you sent us a memo regarding the transportation study.
Yes.
I have recommended this in the past, and I want to continue to recommend this. The city, or the county, when they negotiate with us, negotiates off our population and gives us revenue from SPOS and T-SPOS and other things, or we negotiate, I should say. They don't give us, then we negotiate. But generally speaking, they negotiate from a position of population. So we're getting 42-ish% of the revenues. Yet, in this transportation study, they're asking us to pay for 50% of the transportation study. I think it should be paid for off the top of T-SPOS and not out of line item after we get it, because that reflects the population of the county and doesn't put an undue burden for that transportation study on the citizens of the city.
Okay.
Since we are county residents as well. So why are we paying more per capita than the people in the county? That makes no sense to me. I think we should take that money out the top of T-SPOS and seek to negotiate the same split that we get the revenue should be the same split that we pay for joint costs.
And I hear you, and I just want to ask my staff, Jason, when we prepared that transportation plan, I know in our discussion, the discussion was between the county and the city, but there are other communities and this goes back to his point,
Right.
to the council member's point, that there are other communities that might also be impacted by a transportation plan. And when we've negotiated that in the past, and I don't know that we've actually shared that cost, so that cost has been shared with those other smaller communities.
Not typically.
They have basically looked to the city and the county to fund this, but
To the county primarily.
To Councilmember's point, it's a legitimate concern, and so we can have that conversation, with the county.
Well, and then that then leads me to my follow-up, which is, as you well know, what was the one we just negotiated? SPOS? No.
T-SPOS.
T-SPOS. T-SPOS.
So we got to vote in.
Yes, but as we well know, the county waited till the very last second to approach our municipalities about T-SPOS. We've got SPOS coming up in a couple of years, and we've got a couple other things that cities and the county are gonna have to collaborate on as far as revenue streams and then expending those streams, and more importantly, how those revenue streams get divided up amongst the municipalities and the county.
Right.
So my suggestion is particularly with the growth that is going to come in the Brookwood region, and Brookwood is going to be starting to deal with some of the problems that we are dealing with, which is density in the county all of a sudden impacting their city, yet they're not getting the revenues because the population's in the county, right? And so I'm recommending that we put together some kind of a intercity council where one of us, as well as one member from each of the other cities, meets maybe on a quarterly or semi-annual, whatever basis we decide, to discuss the issues that are pertinent to the 4 cities in our region. So that way, as a unit, we can negotiate with the county so that they're not putting, Brookwood just wanted to move their percentage from 2.7 to 3.03%. It was a tiny, tiny percentage. And because the county waited till the very last second, we can't go. That's dirty pool as far as I'm concerned, and the cities need to come together and work together and negotiate as a group, because we all have similar concerns. And when we're negotiating separately, we're not as effective.
I think that's a good idea, but Mr. Boyd, one thing I would recommend, I know we want to include those other communities, but I think we should also include the county in that discussion. So it doesn't seem like we're doing something behind their back and we're up front.
That would be great.
And to that point, we also need to make sure that we're starting those conversations far enough in advance so we're not having to do like we did with T-SPOS in order to get it on this agenda. I mean, we know when those deadlines are coming up.
We know when the next T-SPOS is coming.
Yeah, we know when they're coming up, so we're far enough out in advance and not waiting till the last minute. So we don't have room to negotiate.
None of these negotiations should be a surprise or last minute or up against a deadline. We know, we know 20 years in advance when the next T-Splost and Splost and E-Splost, they're already scheduled out. We know when they're coming. The fact of waiting to the last minute is really just an unacceptable negotiation tactic.
I agree.
So yes, I do agree that a representative from the county would not be a bad idea to have on that whatever you want to call it, intergovernmental. Maybe throw somebody in from those school board while we're at it. Might as well. Couldn't hurt.
Do they get T-Splost? How do they get Splost?
They get Splost and E-Splost, and the fact is, a significant portion of their revenues are generated by our sales tax. Will they get 2 cents? So, I don't know if we need to vote on that, or I need to direct Kane to start writing up language, how we would put something like that together. But I would like to start that discussion. I think it's important. I think with everything that is going on regionally, if our county and our community cannot collaborate and our officials cannot collaborate, and it is clear with what is going on in the south end of the county that we are not working together effectively to maximize the benefit to this community. I'm a Bullitt County resident too.
Me too.
Mayor, how do you want to direct that? I mean, we don't mind putting together a memo and including it as FYI item for the council to consider at the next meeting. We can do that. It's not an ordinance.
Yeah.
Kane, any suggestions on an intergovernmental type organization like that, committee?
I can certainly look into some sort of interlocal agreements that, some sort of, see where others have gone with that. And we can have that ready for that, why, as Mr. Penny said.
I know there are larger counties that have more cities that have similar organizations.
Sure.
So, I mean, just because we only have four. Yeah.
I think that's a good idea. It's a great idea.
We can come back to you on that.
Okay, thank you.
Councilwoman Barr.
Yes, thank you. I neglected to point out to council members, I had a conversation with Alex Smith, the director over at Action Pack, the senior center on Brady Street. And he wanted to invite all of us to come and see what their operation is and come have a meal and meet the seniors. And so he worked with Leah to give us this invitation that I call to your attention. Please let Leah know if you will attend. They made it for 11 o'clock on the Tuesday of our meeting, first meeting in October. So I hope that you'll be able to attend. He said that he thought his patrons would be very excited to have some of us show up and answer their questions and see what's going on over there.
All right, any further discussion by council? Okay. Councilwoman Barr?
Oh, I'm sorry, I was saying that's it. Thank you.
Okay, good deal. All right, and so I know that we were supposed to discuss the health commission situation. And I know there was a request to create an ad hoc. Can you give us some insight on the status of that? Councilwoman Barr?
Not really. My understanding is that the proposition was that we have an ad hoc committee in the short term and still consider the possibility of establishing a better borough, a healthy borough commission in the longer term.
Okay.
Does that sound right? And I know that Dr. Knopfel has come prepared to answer our questions or to share information about that. So I'll wait your direction, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, I tell you what, I think the ad hoc is easy. But I do think we still need to have that presentation on the Healthy Borough Commission. And so I think that we need to address how we can get that information out. I know we have 2 items that were left on our work session. Are we looking to continue that, or we want to do that at another time? What is the thought process on that?
I would ask that we need to deal with, but the healthy borough, I would ask that we do that at the next work session.
Okay.
And if you want to do something ad hoc, you could do that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, good deal.
But you could do the ad hoc, but we need to deal with the one item, there's one item that we need to bring to attention. Do you want to do that before I do my report, or what?
Yeah, let's do that before your report. So at this time, we will establish an ad hoc committee, and Councilwoman Barr, will you serve as the chair for that?
Liaison to the group, certainly.
Okay.
It needs to be chair, but we already have a chair.
Okay, and then I know that there was names that was forwarded as far as the appointment is concerned. Will you come forward and read those names off?
Yes.
And we're gonna need you to state your name.
I apologize, they're on my phone.
I always catch you by surprise.
You always catch me by surprise. I don't want to leave anyone out.
Yeah.
All right. The following people are willing to serve on the ad hoc committee for promoting health. Melissa Guyan, Tracy Linderholm, Michelle Martin, myself, Karen Nothel, Stacy Smallwood, and Marike Van Willigen.
Okay. Let it be understood that those appointments as read will be appointed to the mayoral ad hoc committee. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Penn.
Mayor, members of the council, the one item I want to bring to your attention was in the FYI packet. Working with Georgia Southern and Dr. Yen from the School of College of Public Health, there's a grant opportunity that they would like to apply for. And what that grant opportunity will allow is to assess the environment inside our buildings. And we have about 20 buildings, and then there are some things that can be done with plants and things of that nature without going to expensive costs. But it would require, they would apply for the grant. The city would actually, we might enter into a memorandum of understanding, which I would recommend with the university for them to do that work. But they would submit the grant, and the grant is actually due, I think, sometime within the next month. But what this would do, they would also survey a random selection of our employees about the environment. And when we talk about environment, we're not talking about working, we're talking about the atmospheric environment inside buildings, to see if we have anything going on that might be causing illness and anything of that nature. And so what I just wanted to inform council that we have this opportunity to work with the university on something that I think is good for our buildings, considering what we've been going through for the last 2 years with the pandemic. We will come back to you, but I wanted to be on the record that there's a grant opportunity that the university would actually apply for. And the city staff would work with Dr. Yen to hopefully help get the grant, and then to make sure we process and implement these things in our building if they're successful in receiving the grant. So I want to make council aware of that.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penn. All right. And so we want to go
back to one more item.
From the work session. Yeah, that's what we're going on. And so that's item, is that 7?
7.
In our work session?
Yes, and if you would put Kane for you.
And I'll treat it like a work session and go to the podium.
Good job, Ken.
Mayor and council, this item is brought before y'all because the Blue Room had asked about the feasibility of exceeding the number of permits to exceed allowed under our noise ordinance. The way it currently stands is that an applicant can only have 2 of these permits to exceed in any 6-month period. Well, actually not any 6-month period, a delineated 6-month period, which in this case is July 1st through the end of the year. The way it currently stands is they have 3 upcoming concerts that would violate the regulations found in section 38-103, namely that namely that no sound may be produced that is plainly audible beyond the premises. That would be deemed a noise disturbance. And clearly, if they were having these outside concerts, that there would need to be permits to exceed in order for them to move forward with that. So Section 38105 sets out the procedure to obtain these permits to exceed. And so the application for permits to exceed are given to the police chief, and the police chief or her designee would then make the decision on whether or not the permit to exceed would be granted. Currently, Lieutenant Kevin Wadley is the designee who evaluates those applications, and the evaluation consists of the nature of the requested activity, the previous experience with the applicant, the time of the event, other activities in the vicinity of the proposed location, the cultural or social benefits of the proposed activity, and the effect of the activity on any adjacent residential property. And also in addition to either denying or rejecting the application, conditions can also be put on the actual event. It also sets out a security deposit having to be put down, as well as a $15 application fee at the time of the application. Like I said, it's currently two permits to exceed may be granted during this 6-month period. So, and this ordinance does date back to 1990. It is a fairly old ordinance. So, really, the question before council is to do nothing about the request, to revise the ordinance, and just leave it entirely at the discretion of PD whether or not those permits to exceed, they would decide if there were too many of them. And that would be based on noise complaints and general actions during those events that exceed the permitted noise levels. And of course, if council doesn't want to change the ordinance, we could simply do a resolution allowing a third permit to exceed in this specific instance. So, I mean, we're just here for y'all's direction on that.
Okay, we'll open it up for council.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to ask if the Statesboro Police Department has any input on, do y'all want this responsibility to decide every time, or do you want us to give more direction?
Honestly, we're fine with whatever. What we've been doing is working, but we're happy to open that up and always have a clause in there that if it becomes a problem, we can always deny the next one if it were to be an unlimited number and it became unreasonable or something.
Thank you.
So these are just concerts only?
These would be outside concerts.
Outside concert.
But it would but the gist of it would be that instead of limiting it to those 2 in a 6-month period, the discretion would be entirely on the police department to determine the number that could be given.
So you would end up recommending, if you do that, you would amend the ordinance to.
Right, the only thing that would need to be changed in the ordinance is subsection, F2 in there, which is that's the clause that's set out in the work session materials. And that's just the one that says no more than 2 periods. I just redlined that out and it will be gone.
Is this a specific business asking for this, or is this in general?
Yes, this is the Blue Room because they ended up getting they sort of got a surprise booking with Cole Swindell coming in, so
wow.
They had their 2 already set up, but then they had an opportunity to bring Cole in as well, which would obviously be a huge concert, and so they were asking for that reason. But they had asked just simply for a resolution to do so, but after with discussion with Mr. Penny and with Chief Broadhead, there's no staff opposition to just removing the limit in its entirety.
Okay, so tonight, I'm sorry.
The only concern that I have is that this is my district.
Yeah.
And there's a huge concern about noise from the Blue Room. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. I'm not even sure who the person is that's trying to come. I'm sorry. I don't know who called it. I'm sorry.
He's a country music artist.
Oh, okay.
He's the guy that wears the Georgia Southern hat, always.
So,
I mean, this
that's my
one
only
instance, it's a big
concern.
deal for sure.
Yeah.
So I would be hesitant
Big
to
deal.
open it up.
Again, from, my question was, I didn't know the history, and that's why I said, put it on the agenda and see if there's a concern, and that's why you're having the conversation.
It is a huge concern. I literally just talked to someone about a complaint about the people that are patronizing it, urinating in the parking lots and parking in the apartment complex parking lots, and the noise, I can hear the noises. So I don't know if I would feel comfortable to change it, but I don't wanna stop this big time thing happening.
So, resolution for now, discussion about ordinance later?
Yeah, let's do that.
I'm down for resolution now, no discussion ordinance. I'm happy with how it is.
So the resolution would do what, make one exception? or
Yeah, make the
what?
one exception for this.
Is there a
And I
variance?
think, you know, and council, it's clearly up to you guys whether or not you wanna discuss it or not. You know,
So
but, I
what
mean,
we're
this is,
saying is we're making one exception for this famous country artist to come in?
Yeah, I'm not
That's
for
what we're
that.
doing?
well,
Making one
I'm
exception
for
that?
addressing it all over again, because this is
That-
1990.
That's what I mean, we
Yeah.
need to address all of them or not?
Yeah,
or not?
yeah, that's what I would much rather do. I mean, this is, Statesboro 2022 is not the same place as 1990. Two
Oh,
years.
we were having a pretty good time in 1992.
Yeah, I was about to say, comparing it to 1990 might not be the best idea.
But yeah, you know, we know, we was here. But with that being said, you know, I think it, you know, in this case right here, Coach Wendell, that's a big deal. You know, let's pass the resolution for this, and then let's bring it back to council, and then let council vet it. And then whatever decision council make after that, that's what we'll have moving forward.
I had one question,
Go
Mr.
ahead.
Mayor. So, Ms. Mack, the concern that folks are sharing with you isn't about a single concert. It's about what happens at that nightclub all the time, right? Isn't that a
It's the
separate issue?
nightclub, the concerts, the Blue Room, and the whole.
So that sounds like something to be addressed separately, not with just a concert 2 times a year or 3 times a year.
I just know that it's an issue with the noise, like people are complaining about it, so for us to up the number, I'm not comfortable with that.
Right.
Okay, I see.
Agreed.
Thank you. I'm fine with the resolution for now, to let them bring in Cole Swindell, and then we can talk about it more later if we need to do something different.
All right, is there a motion to approve a resolution, for this event?
I think we need to have
Mayor,
that written
Mayor,
up.
I would have a ordinance presented at the next council meeting for y'all to take action on.
Okay.
Yes,
Well, we need a resolution
We
now.
need that.
Yeah,
When is this concert? You
No, the
know?
resolution needs to be written, doesn't it?
yeah.
It's in November?
Yes, so we could easily pass a resolution at the next council meeting, not have any effect.
We don't have to do
on
it
this.
tonight.
That's
Okay,
right.
so we just have, okay,
I would like
good,
to
that's
talk to
fine.
some
All right,
residents.
good deal, thank you, Ken.
Absolutely, thank y'all.
Okay.
It's not, it's the one in November, it needs a third.
Okay. All right, thank you, Ken. All right. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right, back to the regular agenda. We will open. Okay. All right, we'll open up for public comments. We have, Miss Annie Bellinger. Miss Annie?
Good afternoon.
Hey, Miss Annie.
I
Miss
like
Annie.
education staff today, but what I want to say to the city councilman, everyone in this room, I am not trying to set up anything for the city, so back your committees off of me. I have been attacked 4 times in the past couple of months from people trying to set up something concerning mental health patients and stuff like that. I deal with that, but I don't deal with it with y'all, let's say it like that. When first beginning, y'all was supposed to be witnesses. Everybody has become judges now. They want shooters. stand there and let a mental health patient stand up in your face and tell you they right and you wrong, and you know for a fact they are mental health patients. I have been attacked by 3 already or more. I'm not in the program with y'all or nothing like that. I do not need y'all healthcare nurses in my neighborhood. I have 5 doctors in Savannah, which is the best in Southeast Georgia. And I do not need any of y'all healthcare people that y'all are putting in the neighborhood, your nurses and your doctors and your whatever you want to put there. I do not need any of your Christians telling me where to get off and get on at. I can handle my own problems. I had a problem with Exxon, man at the Exxon station. There's this woman come up. She's a Christian. She can handle it. This is why so much killing is going on into the schools. You got the wrong people up in there trying to handle situations that they're not capable of handling. You got them out here in the street trying to handle them. Now you take right down there on Johnson Street. You got one woman down there attacked somebody 3 years ago. Nobody has taken her to court. Her counselors have tried to put her in programs. I don't want to go in that one. I want to be home with my family. I don't want to go in the other one. I want to be home with my family. If y'all want to do something real, do it. Put you some people in the neighborhood to see like this, your mental health patients out there. Because you got plenty of them out there. And you're wondering why so much crimes and stuff are going on in the world. It's because you're trying to put the wrong person in the wrong gap. And as long as you do that, you're going to have problems. So like I say, watch what I'm telling you. You're going to have a whole bunch more problems right down there on Johnson Street. Because this particular person, now, I know they're not back low behind no 3 years up there that they had took that woman to court. I'm trying to help her. But she's going to attack me and then going to tell a certain somebody that I attacked her. And I do not need none of these scraps that the church is scrapping and giving the neighborhood over there. I don't go into your church to clean your church so you can give me scraps. Told the girl before she went in there, do not mess with these scraps these folks got up in this church because they ain't giving away nothing but scraps. You take over there, all the churches over there, give it away scrap. Give me some big, a whole bunch of bags of old macaroni, noodles, and what can I do with that? They didn't give me no meat to make no spaghetti. They didn't give me no sauce to make no spaghetti. But they're giving out a whole bunch of scrap over there and ain't paying no attention to what that neighborhood is doing over there. Just completely. One why you said you was going to do something about it. You just turned your back on it now. And ain't saying nothing about nothing that go on over there. This one person got two things that could be saw about. She's an alcoholic and she's a mental patient. But I never see y'all say, here's a 50 cent we're gonna put over there to help the mental health people. This is why you got so much stuff going on and you can't find out who did what in Statesboro. Got several crimes here you hadn't even been able to solve. Body has been misplaced and you ain't even found them. But you still worrying about liquor. You still worrying about all this other foolishness. How many liquor stores you gonna bring in here? How much liquor you gonna sell? Where you gonna put them at? They was out of here one time. And you gonna bring all that crime back into Borough County. Just because somebody think that she didn't want liquor up in Borough County, so I'm gonna show her I'll bring it up in here. I ain't care whether you bring liquor up in here or not. But I just told you, liquor is one of the destructions of the world, the whole world. I don't mean just Statesboro, the whole world. Now, I'm gonna tell y'all one more time, I'm not involved in y'all's programs. Back your committees off of me. Because I'm not into the programs with y'all. I'm not doing anything for y'all. I'm just trying to make a living.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hill.
All right, next we have Bob Brennan.
Hey, Mr. Bob.
Hi, grew up in Statesboro. I'm 84 years old. I've lived here all my life. I've loved it. I've done everything I could do, but I've been discriminated against. Pretty bad. My bookkeeper walked in, and I'm the manager and part owner of Brennan Land and Property. And Mayor, Mr. Mayor, you know I own the Brennan's tobacco warehouses. Okay, I own Billy's Import. I got a bill, my bookkeeper told me that had I seen this, and I said, what are you talking about? He said, your storm drain bill. I said, what do you mean? He said, $4,900 this year. And I said, what? I said, what are the city taxes? He said, $33.97. Now, you know it, Mayor, because you grew up there. Those warehouses are built on a hill. My dad bought that land from Lehman Franklin Sr. to build those warehouses because I said, Daddy, I was 15 in high school. He said, you build them on a hill. You got so much water coming off, the water runs off, it goes down the hill. It did. It goes down the hill in the Altman Pond and has since I was a little boy. And all of a sudden, I cut the water off in number 2 and number 3. But the reason I got peanuts stored in them, you can't have water in the warehouse with peanuts stored. So this guy that's managing the storm drain, he said, you cut off number 2. So I just moved it over to number 1 and 3 building. And it's 78,000 square feet, that building. Well, number 3 is 122,500 square feet. The water's cut off in it too, but it happens to be on the same meter as a little 64,000 square foot building. Now, I'm concerned that I'm having to pay. I asked the boy, anybody in Statesboro paying that much storm drainage? I said, anybody, tell me. Oh yeah, I said, name them. You know what he said? Georgia Southern. I said, my God, I hope so, 600 acres for campus. So I just I need this somehow, this ordinance, to have some common sense in it. I'm asking to change this ordinance where those buildings, that number 2 and that number 3 warehouse, not one drop of storm water goes into the sewer. It goes into Altman Pond. The number 2 is on the bank of the pond. Okay, number 1, half of that goes in. The other half stands on the lot in the front corner there because the storm drainage under 301's been stopped up for 15 years. Now, I need some help. I'm asking, I'm willing to make a deal. Y'all have a natural gas depot on my land. The city, I let them put it there 15 years ago. Never charged them a cent, never got a penny out of it all this time. If y'all gonna charge me $430 storm rent, I'm gonna have to send you a bill for land rent for that. You can help me with this thing, but it's ridiculous. You know, Mayor, anybody in here, go out there and turn off Packet Plant Road, drive down number 1, you're going downhill. You get to number 3, you're way downhill. You get to number 2, there's no way water's gonna run back up the Packet Plant Road. And this ordinance is just not right. It's not fair, and it's very discriminatory. I need some help with it.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
And if we will, let's have the staff follow up with Mr. Brennan to take a look and see what we got going on, okay?
This little guy that's in charge of it, don't send him.
We'll be glad to check it. Every property pays stormwater.
Yeah, okay.
Everybody.
All right.
Thank you, Chair.
And we're gonna move down to agenda item 19, consideration of motion to enter into executive session to discuss personnel matters in accordance with OCGA 50-14-3B. Is there anything in additional outside of personnel matters?
Real estate?
Real estate. Okay, real estate. All right, good deal. All right, is there a motion to go into executive session? Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right.